Lika here for Peak Survival. I'm here with Chris and Mike from the Arizona Hiking Shack. The next topic we're going to be covering is what to put in your day pack. So this is if you're going for an afternoon or possibly an entire day. So we'll go through each item, and each member will be able to add on a few details to the items. So whoever wants to give it a start.
So everybody that goes out for anywhere between 3 to 8 hours should carry some type of first aid kit. Should also carry some type of knife. I prefer a multi-tool. It has a couple of types of knives, a screwdriver and some pliers. This could come in handy pulling out cactus. I carry some little type of survival kit is nice. This has a way to make primitive fire, some duct tape, a signal mirror, and a whistle, along with a personal blanket, like a survival blanket. And a headlamp. It's something I see a lot of people leave at home if they're going to go out for a day hike, but sometimes hikes become a little longer than you expected. People become benighted, and when you become benighted, having a headlamp could be key.
And if I can add on, don't forget to pack backup batteries, so you don't want that failing on you.
Yeah. Sunblock. At least 3 liters of water. In the warmer months, for a longer hike, I would consider 4 to 5 liters possibly. And then if I'm going to go out for an all-day adventure, a lot of times I would bring a thermal bivvy, something emergency in case I get caught out overnight. I might consider that if I'm going to be in deep backcountry or I'm going to be out for a real long time. Mike, would you add anything?
Yeah.
Nothing other than all these look great and people will buy them and they actually won't take them with them. I've had one of these save my life before, and I've had one of these save my life before. And maybe in the long run the sunscreen is doing the same.
For sure.
But all this stuff is no good if you don't actually pack it with you.
Right.
This is a bracelet that one of our coworkers made. It actually contains 50 feet of paracord, so we can, if we need to, we can undo that and then take it to lash stuff together or do whatever it is we need to survive. Another thing that wasn't quite touched on is a lighter. Very important survival tool to light a fire, to be able to see if your headlamp batteries go out, or whatever.
Yeah. If you got fire, you got everything. You can cook, you can boil water, it keeps you warm at night. So we've covered this before, so remember that. There's no excuses.
And another thing a lot of people don't like to mention, and maybe it's not the best subject, is some type of toilet kit. This is a nice type of a wag bag. This has everything you need to carry stuff out with you in a fairly palatable manner. I generally do my own kit, which is a Ziploc bag, and then inside of that just a little toilet paper, a little hand sanitizer, and a few other bags to pack the paper out with. Some people will burn their paper with their lighter. Doesn't really matter as long as we dispose of it properly.
And as long as you're not creating a fire risk.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, very important to remember.
Many parts of Arizona, you're not allowed to have fires. Always check before you go and know what you're allowed to do in that particular park.
Fantastic. So this, again, to reiterate, is for a sort of one-day outdoor excursion. We're going to add on a few more things for a 2 to 3 day, and then maybe a little bit longer. So stay tuned for that. All right, so we're going to be continuing now with a multi-day hike. What do you put in your pack? So consider the items we've just reviewed in the day pack. Obviously, you want to add food to that pack. We have a few extra items we're going to throw in there. And Chris, if you want to review them with me and why they'd be useful to have.
Okay. I would bring a more substantial first aid kit, especially if I'm going with a group. I want something that's capable of handling a group. I will carry a compass and maps for the area and know how to use it. There's certainly great classes in it, and I encourage people to get into education and get into to classes to learn more about the subjects that they need to know. Sunblock, lighter, some of the things we had in the last kit.
Right.
Some type of tool that has a knife and pliers, a headlamp. Two things to dealing with wildlife. Often people in Arizona are concerned about snakes and want to bring a snake bite kit. I discourage it. Snake bite kits deal with old myths that you can treat a snake bite on the scene. The only true treatment for a snake bite is a hospital and anti-venom. So just move yourself quietly to the hospital quickly as possible. Don't tourniquet things. Don't cut things. Don't try to suck the venom out. If you have a cut in your mouth and you actually did get any venom out, then you would end up with a potential snake bite situation in your face, even if you're not bitten.
Wow.
So you could end up worse off than the other person.
And if I can just add on to that, something else it can happen so quickly sometimes, but if you do notice the type of snake it is, even if it's the color or the shape, whatever, or you have someone with you, try to remember what the snake looked like, because that can really help with selecting the right anti-venom.
Very good point, Celica.
Thank you.
The other thing I want to talk about is the bear spray. So in Wyoming and Alaska and some other places I've been, this is on everybody's hip. Even in places like Arizona, where we have places with dense concentration of black bears or mountain lions, this could be a good thing to have. The main thing I would say about it is that it's better than trying to carry a weapon. Often parks don't allow you to carry handguns. Another issue is that handguns can be very unreliable. Even expert marksmen can have a very difficult time shooting a charging bear or a mountain lion, but a bear spray that goes out in a cloud can be a much more effective thing. So if you're going into an area where large predatory wildlife is an issue, then consider bear spray.
See, that's a new one for me. I wasn't always sure about that, but...
One couple of last little things that I carry in my pack is in the desert I'll carry a comb, like an old style comb for your hair, and you can use that. It's very handy for plucking out cactus without you having to touch them where you get stuck in your hand. Another thing is I carry a turkey basting pan made out of aluminum that I can roll up. And I can use that as a fire pan in very delicate areas. That keeps me in a situation where I can dump that in the water if I'm next to the water, so if I have a fire problem. I can also leave the area cleaner than I came, and that's always the goal. Many wilderness areas, they want you to really bury that fire and everything. Well, if you have a pan, and these things don't weigh anything and they don't take up any space once they're rolled up. So that's a couple little tricks that I use
good tips
to keep the area clean.
Definitely. So again, remember what we talked about in the day pack. Add a few of these, and we're also going to start covering stoves and also filtration systems, because you got to remember you're in the desert, and chances are a lot of the water may be stagnant and you don't know what's been there, insects, dead animals. So those of you who swear by the those little iodine tabs, when you have running water in abundance, fine, but that might not be the situation.
I've gotten to areas where there are dead animals in the water source that I'd planned on using when I was doing my trip planning. So water tablets can be good in some areas, but certainly they don't supplant the water filter.
Sure. So we're going to go off to talking about the water filters and stove selections.